Hello. This video is a showcase of what I picked up at one of our local antique malls, Strathcona Antique Mall here in Edmonton, has what they call their parking lot sales once it gets to spring and summer. And so I went this past Monday to the first parking lot sale of the year, and ooh, it was cold. It was cold, and it started off raining, cold. I don't have a GoPro or even a cell phone to shoot video and stuff, so you'll just have to take my word for it. It was cold. It was raining. The rain eventually went away, but it was still a good day. I picked up some stuff. Actually, only two things were comic books. The rest, oh, sorry, my brain is over here somewhere. Anyway, I picked up some stuff and two comic books, two other books, and actually some toys. Um, it's not the first toys I bought, but I thought I saw what were some things that were some very good prices, and I thought, oh wow, absolutely. So let's see, what shall I start with? Well, I think I'm going to start with the strange, one of the most surprising things that I found. Some people would say you should have saved those for the end, but no, that's not. I have something specific that I'm saving for the end. But we're going to start with the books. So these are, and they had a stack of about 6 or 7 of them. The rain had stopped, and it was out on a table where it says everything on this table is two for $5. So, and they had them stacked up, and there was about 5 or 6, I think, maybe a few more. And I looked through them and said, "Ooh, these are too good." But I didn't take them all because of some of the other ones I wasn't so certain I wanted. But these are big little books, and I picked up two of them. And first off, we have Captain Midnight and the Moon Woman. So yeah, and this is the one that's in the best shape of the two that I picked up. Well, I saw that and I was like, hello. And I know Alan from the Comic Collector Geek and certain other YouTubers out there would really appreciate these, but this isn't for my personal collection. sorry, Alan. Yeah, so that's the first one that I got, first big little book. And they also had Mandrake the Magician, Mighty Solver of Mysteries. This one's isn't in good shape, but it was Mandrake the Magician, so I had to take it. So, yes. Yeah, and you can see on the side it's a little rougher shape. And they had other ones that I had thought about maybe going back for. But when I went back for them, some of them were gone, and the ones that were left were ones I really wasn't that interested in. You know, maybe I could have picked them up, but I was just. Anyways, since I started with those books, I'm actually going to go into the two comic books. Now, when this first came out, it was something I wanted. There's this version, and there was the trade dress version, and the vendor I went to, one vendor had his comic books out on a spinner rack under the rain. Yes, they were bagged and boarded, but there was no way I was going anywhere near those books. This vendor was under a tent. Most of his books were well protected. There was a couple book boxes on the edge of the tent. They were getting a little wet. I really didn't want to look in those. But these are good Mylar bag and boards, so I'm pretty sure all his books were protected. And before I left the show, I went back, showed him one thing that I'm going to show you at the end that I said, "Oh, I can't believe you found that. Is that the original?" Anyways, but these ones were under the tent and well protected. And this is a Scotty Young variant. It was marked at $8, and this is for a series called Zawa. It's got a longer title, but Zawa is all I can remember. And when it first came out, I wanted it, but I couldn't find it, so I saw it, and I had to have that. And we took it out of the bag and board, made sure no water got in, so it was well protected. Now, the second comic book I picked up from him, it's almost in perfect shape. There's a slight sort of mark along this. You'll see it when I show it to you. Now, um, David from Still Only 35 Cents, I went on one of his streams and he had offered to send me this book because he had an extra. Shout out to Dave. I don't need to do that now because I found a copy. Um, but what it is Alpha Flight first dynamic double-sized issue. And it was marked at $25. And it was probably marked at $25 because it has this, you can probably see it right here, right here. It has a little bit of a strange little crease that goes right across. So this book, and it's actually, if you can see, it's a Canadian price variant, $1.25. And I opened it up, looked at it. It's in excellent shape. No, it wasn't signed. But I was like, I was stoked to find it. I really was. And he let me have this and the other one, the Scotty Young variant, were $28. So that was really nice of him. Yeah, so it's basically like I got this one for $20. So those were my two big pickups for that show. Now, last thing I'm going to show you, well, sort of the last thing. I'm going to start with, if you know the sound, you know what I'm about to show you, if you can even hear it. But I've been watching, how did you say his name? Say his channel's name? Rod the Rican, or Rican the Rod? I think it's Rod the Rican. I've been watching Rod's channel and showing off the Hot Wheels that he's buying and the cars that he's buying. And I used to have old Matchbox and a few Hot Wheels back in the day, but it's something I really hadn't really considered getting into. But there was a vendor who had a huge, Rod, if you're watching this, you would have loved this. He had all of these cars out, yet they were all loose cars. And yes, it had been raining, so it had gotten a little wet, but they're Hot Wheels. If they get a little wet, it's not a big deal. And these are cars that weren't like in pristine condition, but he had like, let's see, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 wooden containers filled with cars. It was a plethora. Most of it was really modern stuff. And I ended up with a couple of them that I thought were older because they had die-cast metal bottoms. Turned out they're not as old as I thought they were, but still really good. But he had tons of stuff, and there were some of them I looked at. He had hot rods. He had, I should know the terms of this. He had dragster cars. He had some really wild dragster cars. I was like, but they're all modern. We're mostly all modern stuff. And when I say modern, I say like early 2000s to mid to so like 2000s to 2015. From some of the dates I saw, there could have been some more modern stuff, but there was stuff that was pre-2000s as well. There wasn't as much of that, and most of that stuff was actually cars that weren't in very good shape. Paint was off, and I just couldn't. There was one sort of hot rod sort of dragster car that I really had thought about getting, but one of the front, there was like, it had these fancy spoiler fenders on both the front and the back, and one of the ones on the front was ripped off. It was gone. If it had been in perfect, if it had that, I would have picked that one up, but I couldn't do it. So I'm going to show these from what I think is from newest oldest, from the research I've done. The first one is what is known as, and I picked this one up, and this one I had a feeling it wasn't that old, but the design of it was really cool, and it's what's known as a solar reflex, but it's a red line solar reflex, and from 2000, if I have the date right, it's from 2009, and if Rod watches this, he can let me know if I'm wrong, but yeah, so that is the car there. And it's just I saw this and it's like, well, that's something strange with that car. I didn't understand. But yeah, and there's the bottom of the car. You can, Rod, if you can see that properly, you can let me know if there's anything I'm missing. But yeah, that is the solar reflex. That was one of the ones, the first ones I decided that I wanted. Um, then there was also this one, which I also had a feeling wasn't too old, but I wasn't sure. And it's a Hot Wheels Nitram or Nitram. I think it's Nitram. Someone can let me know. But from 2008, and supposedly it was also a key car in one of Hot Wheels' video games. So, and like I said, these cars were $1 a piece. So, and actually, I think what it was is that vendor is where I got the red line from. There was another vendor, I think, where I got these ones from. There was a you've been having cut that Rod. There was a lot of cars, a lot of people selling stuff, but it's not something I have a whole lot of room for, so I have to be very fussy about what I get. All right, and the one that I almost didn't pick up or I wasn't so sure about, but when I saw the bottom of it, it's like, okay, this one looks like it's definitely a little older. But this is, and then I think the series is called the 1998 First Editions, and it's number 38 of 40 from that series, and it is a Hot Wheels Catapult. So, and I'm pretty sure it is actually the 1998 one. So, because it has, if you can see, it has the black 64. You can't really see it, but that's a black Hot Wheels on the hood, and supposedly that's, and you can see definitely to tell the bottom of that is a little older, a little bit earlier than some of those, but yeah, those were cool little finds. And I could have gone crazy and bought a whole bunch, but I just don't have the room for a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, so those are the first Hot Wheels I've picked up or bought or owned since I was a kid. All right, now to end with the coolest thing, I was going table to table, and there was lots of great stuff. I really would like to go into more details about this, but I'm trying to keep it under 15 minutes. And I got to a place where was showing, he had a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff. I looked at it and I was like, ooh, I really want that. And he had old figures, like old figures. And I could have bought them all. I didn't end up buying them all. But at the end of the day, I went back and I bought this one figure. We have Darth Vader. No cape, no lightsaber. Everything still works pretty good though. And I looked at the date on the leg and it says 1977. So, and he had this. He had a Luke, which was in really bad shape. He had a Chewbacca, and they all looked like they were like old ones. But I told myself I was only buying one, and so I went with Darth Vader. So there you go. Those are my pickups from the Strathcona Antiques Malls. First parking lot sale of the year, and there will be other parking lot sales in the year, and we'll see whether I go to them or not. Let me know what you thought of these pickups. If you had an option to go through boxes of like $1 Hot Wheels, would you bought a lot more? What do you think was the great thing? To me, I think the best thing is this and the Alpha Flight #1. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great YouTube stuff. I hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.